Okay, well, welcome to tonight's webinar. My name is Mike Wood. I am going to be your presenter. If you do have questions during the webinar that are on topic and related to the material that we're discussing tonight, go ahead and send me those questions. I'll be happy to answer those. Then, of course, you can use your coach and send questions to your coach after the webinar anytime as well. Hopefully, we'll have this available as a recording, so many of you might be listening to this as a recording. But this is going to be specifically talking about examples of selling nature on eBay. This is something that I've done myself. I have sold sticks. I've sold miniature logs on eBay. I have a couple of tumbleweeds up right now, but haven't had any action on those. But other than a few questions. But there are a lot of options for selling nature, and I want to talk about these today to kind of give you an example of how you can start literally from nothing, no cost, to build your business. You seriously, honestly, you could sell sticks and rocks on eBay, okay? And I'll show you several examples of that and many other things that are available out there. For some, this could turn into a big part of your business. It may bring in a few $100s a month, sometimes maybe even a few $1,000s a month. There are definitely some bigger possibilities with it. For others, it may just be a creative way to start if you don't have anything to begin your business, and allows you to start with something. So again, as you see here on the screen, start with a stick. Literally, start with a stick. If you've got trees in your yard, go out and cut a branch off the tree, and you could sell that branch as is, or you can sell it by cutting it up into smaller pieces. Okay. So let's talk a little bit here about what can we sell. And what I like to encourage people to do, there are many reasons for this, but ultimately what we're doing is teaching ourselves to become creative again. In today's world, at least here in the U.S., and I don't know, maybe it's like this for everybody in the world as adults, but we seem to get into this trap of becoming an adult and being responsible and getting a job and going to work, and we lose a lot of the creativity that we had as a child. And I think that's really a sad thing. If we could bring back some of that creativity and think more like children again, would be a lot more effective, a lot more productive and industrious in our life in just about every avenue. And this is no different. So start with that one basic question: what can you sell? And then look around you. Open your mind, and basically what I hope that you will do here is accept that everything you see is an option. Everything around you, somebody wants those things, and you just don't know it yet. We don't know who they are. What we need to do is just connect with them. eBay is a fantastic resource to connect people, buyers and sellers, all over the world. Okay. One little example I didn't talk about last week that I want to bring up: I once sold a tumbleweed seed, just one solitary individual seed, for 99 cents on eBay. It went to a buyer in Italy, and so it went all over the world. And that was, something I did just to kind of for the sake of doing it and to say that I could. And so that was, it was kind of a fun thing that we did. So I've got some links here: sticks, ground cover, weeds, rocks, pine cones. Okay, these are just a few examples of some of the things that I've actually seen sold, or that I myself have sold on eBay. We're going to start with this one here, sticks, and let's go do a search here. And this is one example of sticks that can be sold. And I actually picked some of these up from my down southern Utah. I have a sister down there, and this, let's change that. Look at the most recent first. Okay. But I have a sister down there that lives near this stuff. This is a cactus, actually. Notice the guy sold 2 lots of that. He sells quite a few of those, actually, consistently. And so this is a good seller for him. I was hoping to get a bigger picture of that, but we don't have it. But anyway, this is a type of cactus. And it has holes in the trunks and branches, and then it's hollow in the middle. And it's a great item to use with pets like lizards and snakes, and even in aquariums, people will use this sometimes, especially cichlid aquariums where they like to have places to hide. And so that's typically what happens with something like this. And so this is something that I actually have quite a few pieces of this that I was going to list. And they're, look at this. I mean, these are 3 to 4 inches long. This guy's selling lots of 300, sometimes I think 100, but selling lots that are 6 inches long on these pieces, and they're real light. It doesn't cost much to ship it. Here's one that's just more of a natural looking piece that somebody sold, $11.95 plus shipping. Okay, so people are paying the shipping for them. So yes, you literally can sell sticks, and this is not something that is going to be harmful to collect, as far as the environment goes either, because it's an item that's just going to rot out there. It's a dead plant. It's not, not anything that we have to worry about. So that's one option. Now, again, you look in your yard, the weeds that are growing in your yard. There are people who will buy those for different reasons, and if we just get it up there and list it, we may be surprised what we'll find. One example that is another one that I did recently is dried teasel, and let's see if we can. I don't know if that's spelled right or not. It may not be. Let's search for that over here real quick. EL, I think, is what it is. Yep. So change that. But this, a lot of people think this is a thistle plant right there. It's not a thistle. It's called teasel. But this is something that that people actually buy as a dried ornamental to put in flower arrangements, I guess, and different things like that. They're selling, some people are selling the seeds, and then there are people who are selling the actual dried plant. And I did that for a little bit, but it's a pain, very literally, to harvest sometimes. And so, it's not something I need. It was amongst the many different creative things that I do, and I decided to cut that out so I didn't have to go out and harvest those. But that's one that you can literally pick up out there and make money with. And for me, I mean, if you drive around and look in your area, if you have any kind of farmland at all, you're going to find that you'll have teasel out there. And this is what it looks like. If we go into Wikipedia, they'll have other pictures and stuff of what that. In fact, what we ought to do, let's just real quick go here and do an images search on it. So there's your teasel plant, and that's how they grow. And you can just cut these off. And I would sell a dozen or so, maybe 15 of these heads with the stalk on it, about 12 to 15, sometimes a little longer, 12 to 15 inches long. And pretty easy to harvest if you've got gloves and some clippers, but kind of a fun little item. And so that was one that I've done. Okay. The ground cover. This is another great example of something where I was looking around for something creative to do, and looking in my yard and noticed, hey, I've got all this ground cover that needs to be trimmed back. I wonder, do I have to throw that away, or would somebody buy it? So I went and researched on eBay for a search like this, ground cover live plant. And sure enough, there are people out there that are selling these live plants of ground cover. And the particular plant that I was working with, the scientific name is sedum something or other, or dragon's blood, and it's similar to this one right here. And goodness, people were actually paying for it, and they were paying just for the clippings, not even a potted plant. And so I could go out and trim my planter back where all my flowers are, and this ground cover is going crazy all over the place. You can take a piece of that, cut it off, stick it in the dirt. It'll make its own new plant and create roots. Very easy to propagate. And so I put that up there, and last summer sold quite a few bunches of those. And all I had to do was wrap it up in a little bit of um, newspaper, wet it down, put it in a flat rate priority box, and ship it. And I would ship it for about 15, $20, plus free shipping. So it cost me $5.50 shipping for each of them. And that worked real well. Something I could just stick in the mailbox, and wasn't a difficult thing for me to do at all. So ground cover, and that's the kind I have. Well, there's lots of other types of ground cover and plants that are out here. And honestly, I didn't know what my plant was called. I went and did a search like this on eBay. I saw it there and said, "Oh, yeah, that's my plant right there," and verified, "Yep, that's exactly what I have." And then I just sold similar to what this was, and did a little research on the plant to make sure I had the right variety and name, and then created my listing. And then it's, once I've got it up there, that's something that I can sell over and over and over again. Now it's best sold during the the planting months, the spring and summer. Of course, I didn't sell any of that during the winter. People weren't looking for it. Good thing, because I didn't have it. Come, fall or winter, it got too cold, and what was above ground was dying off. Had to wait for spring for it to grow back again. So weeds, this is something that has been a hobby for me, to learn about edible plants and weeds, wild edibles and stuff. And this is a very common one throughout the country. It's called lamb's quarters or lamb's quarter, sometimes goosefoot. Those are the common names for it. It's actually a wild spinach. And this is a plant that I've learned to really enjoy. It's very tasty. It's actually more nutritious for you than what you buy in the store that we call spinach today. And it was brought over from pioneers to our country, immigrants that came over from Europe and the Mediterranean and whatnot, and planted it, and it went wild. And this is something that I've sold. I've sold from small 2-3 inch plants to plants that were 15 to 18 inches tall of that plant, where I just pull it out of my backyard, weed in the garden. Oh, I'm weeding. I wonder if I can sell this. And sure enough, so I could, I had to tell my wife, don't pull those weeds out. I'm going to sell them on eBay next time somebody buys them, and pull them out and stick them in a package and ship them. Got great feedback from it too. So that's one of the great things about selling nature. You're selling stuff that people really want. They're interested in these items, and they realize that they're not perfect, and generally very happy with them when they get them. Okay. So a lot of potential there. A lot of great things that we can do. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you this one last example here with rocks. Now rocks, basically what we're looking for here is something that can be used. So we're not typically looking for just your general rocks, although that might work sometimes. But what I have settled on is novaculite or similar types of rocks. I've even seen the option of obsidian. And that one, you're probably going to see some, jewelry and cars, and we're going to see all kinds of things there. Let's change that to recent first instead of highest price first. There we go. So there's some polished obsidian. There's an obsidian blade that somebody has made that they're selling, and that's just crazy to me that they sell that for $33. That would have taken them just hours and hours to make that item. I certainly wouldn't let something go that low, I think. And of course, maybe they're real good at flint knapping, and maybe they can make this in an hour, and that's good money for them. I don't know. But anyway, and then people will buy this to learn flint knapping and to make the products out of as well. So they'll buy the raw, blanks and whatnot. So if we do a search for blanks, obsidian blanks or blank, there we are. So here they're just selling a chunk of it. okay, so that people can take it and then make these knives and arrowheads and spearheads. And look at all the green there. Green means it's sold. And look at how many of those are selling. I mean, just crazy how much of that is selling. All right, so how do we bring that to our business? How do we make that a business for us? Well, any of these things, believe it or not, you have them somewhere close to you. So what I would suggest you do is let's take a search here, and if you guys want to put in the questions there, type in your state for me so I can look up your state. And I'll start here with my state, rock hounding, Utah. So if anybody else wants to throw a state at me there, we'll search for those as well. But I can put in rock hounding. Now here's the one I was looking for. Google will sometimes have maps like this, and so Utah rock hounding map on Google. Look at that. Every one of those points has some type of a rock that I can go out and collect in nature. You know, sometimes there's a fee for it, or at least a form that you have to fill out in order to do it. Other times, they don't care. You can do it wherever. And then over here, it tells me what's available. This one's got agate. This one's got septarian nodules, fossils. This one has petrified wood. And so it shows you where it is and what kind of rock it is, agate, quartz. And so we can go out and look for that. Okay. So I've got some others here. Let's try Indiana for Thomas there. So we'll just do a search for rock hounding, Indiana. And we may have to vary this a little bit. We might have to do rock hounding map, Indiana. And we'll take Google's suggestion there. And then just look at the results that come up and see what we get. Let's try this one and see if they have some maps for us that talk about where we might be able to go and do some rock hounding. Another option too, actually, is we could go to maps.google.com and just go straight to Google's map option there. Whoops, I can't spell maps apparently. Get that right. There we go. And we could go right in here and do Indiana rock hounding. And let's see what, there we go. And so here they've given us a few locations and options. Now these look like some stores and stuff there in Indiana. So I don't know why it's different for each area, but just usually a Google result will give you something. Let's try one of the others. West Virginia, rock hounding, West Virginia. Gator Girl Rocks, that one I've seen come up a few times. So this might be something to look at. We could come in and they've got resources. They get resources about the laws of doing it, what you can harvest there. America's Best Rock Hounding Resource. So these guys have got some pretty good resources and information about what you can do. Geological and Economic Survey, a Fossil Club, Geological Survey, museums of interest. So, you get out there and you start talking to some of these people, get into the groups maybe, and you're going to find out where you can go and find this stuff. And a lot of times it's just there for the taking. You can go out and you can pick it up. And I wonder, just add map to that search and see if we can get something more there. So interesting that that Google threw up a map for me on the other. North Dakota is another one we've got. Let's try that. Rock County, North Dakota map. And they've got a PDF document here that talks a little bit about it from a government site. And that's going to take too long to load, so we're not going to worry about that. But that's one that you might find if you do your search there. We've got USDA.gov, BLM.gov. So there's some good resources that we could look at for rock hounding. Let's try, and then again, change up your search. Change with or without map on there. There was one there that I think there, rock hounding sites, North Dakota. Okay, dirtyrockhounds.com or proboards.com, and then this gatorgirlrocks.com. That looks like a pretty good resource right there. So something like that, and you can find these. But anyway, I had talked to a friend of mine who is familiar with a mountain where it seems like the whole hill, I guess it's probably not a large mountain, but the entire hill, which quite big, is all made out of obsidian, and it's somewhere out here on the West Desert in Utah. And that's something we're going to go out and check out. And then again, just have piles and piles of rocks that can be sold on eBay. So there really are a lot of resources out there that you guys can use and access that are just available to us. So let's get back in here and see what else we've got to look at. This is important, of course. If you're on private property, get permission. All right. Find out who owns the property and ask them. I've harvested sagebrush and other sticks and plants and things from a neighbor, a vacant lot out here, and I know who owns it, and I asked them, and they were totally fine with it. Of course, we don't want to take anything from a national park. You want to avoid that. Generally avoid highly populated areas, and there are a couple reasons for that. One, to avoid any questions or concerns from anybody who might not like what they're seeing. But two, if it's like the national park, the main reason we don't pull things out of a national park is so that everybody who goes through there, and there's millions of people every year in most of these national parks, so that they all have a chance to see the same beauty that we see. So use your common sense here a little bit, and let's be courteous of others, and careful about where we're harvesting from with whatever we do. Okay. If you're concerned about it and you want to know whether or not there are restrictions or something, then you might check with local laws. Most of the time, if you're out in the wilderness and it's not a national park, nobody's going to be concerned if you're picking up some rocks or sticks or what have you. Okay, most of the time it's not going to be an issue, but there are certain areas where it might be, and of course you need to pay attention to any signs that are posted. Generally speaking, I'd say stay local with this strategy. If you're looking for things in nature that you want to sell, look for what you have around you. If you're near the ocean or rivers where you might have driftwood, see if that's an option. I talked to a student about this a little while back, and she's in Florida, and she said, no, that's a no-no here. We can't do that. Says that there's a law against going up and picking up driftwood and taking it. So it's going to be different in every area. But again, if you're out in the wilderness somewhere away from populated areas, you pick up a handful or a bucket full of debris that's there. I don't think anybody's gonna really care about it, right? But it's something where you're not going to try and drive hundreds of miles for this business. So that's why I say, stay local. Use your vacation. When I was taking the family down southern Utah there, visiting my family, we went on a little hike, and I found some of this cholla and thought, well, that'd be a great thing to sell on eBay. And I'm always looking whenever I'm out on that. I don't mind mixing a little bit of business with pleasure. I enjoy what I do on eBay. I enjoy the creativity of it, and so for me, it's no problem to do a little business while I'm out there. The benefit of it is now I get to write off the trip because I was down there looking for something for my business and was able to bring that home. So use your trips that you take to look for some of these types of things that you might be able to sell and make money with. Here's a great big list of options. Okay, what I would encourage you guys to do is use this list to start researching. This is, I think, where I'm going to leave you. If you have, if you're looking at this as a recording, then you can pause the webinar right now, and then start looking for some of these different things. See if they're selling on eBay, and you're going to see some variation of each of these items selling on eBay. Dried leaves. they sell on eBay. Dried ferns and fern leaves, they sell. Clam shells, mussel shells, seashells, maybe dried sea sponge, buckeye seeds, abandoned bird's nest. The buckeye seeds, by the way, that's a great one. If you got a tree of buckeyes, that's something that will sell really well. Let's back up actually here, and I'm going to go show you that abandoned bird's nest. That's a great one. Looking for abandoned bird's nest. Birds abandon their nests, and you can go and pick that up and sell it on eBay for $15 apparently. All right. But let's show you this one. There we are. See that? 100 buckeye seeds for $20. The 100 for 12, 100 for 12. Selling them over and over again. There's a smaller lot there, but people use them for crafts and different things like that. And so, hey, if that's something that you have close to you, that may be an option. Again, look around, look at what you have in your area, and find a way to turn that into a business opportunity for you. Here's some driftwood, literally just wood from the river, probably right there. Bunch of sticks, 120 16-inch sticks that somebody bought for $117. Okay. When I harvest things from nature and sell this kind of stuff, my return on investment is generally somewhere between, well, I guess not ROI, but the money I'm making, it's $200 to $300 an hour. Yeah, it may be few and far between. Maybe you're only doing this once or twice a month, but maybe you do it more often. I've had months where I make thousands of dollars on this type of product, literally. Okay, and then many other months where I'm at least making hundreds on just finding stuff that's available in nature. Something that is, fairly close to me. So there's a lot of options there. Again, let's bring this back up so you can have it there. It could be deer sheds and antlers, native plants, ground cover, snapdragon seeds, marigold seeds. These are just plants I have growing in my yard, and they're dropping seeds every year. You can sell those on eBay. Okay. The flint or obsidian or striking rocks or flint knapping rocks, dried cholla wood. There's so many options. And this is just a beginning. This to just get the juices flowing a little bit, get you creative, hopefully. But think beyond that and recognize that there are so many other options that are available to you. I'll come back to this slide, but let's go ahead and finish the webinar here. How do you grow your business from this? This is a strategy that I would hope you would use as a beginning to your business, and then maybe it'll grow into something bigger, maybe not, but it'll give you some seed capital. Go out and pick up some rocks from the yard and sell them on eBay. Clippings from a tree, desert cactus or other plants, driftwood, pine cones. I mean, so many options. Get out there. Let's find. See, I just sold some there. You probably heard that. But get out there and let's find something that can get us a start, and then we'll sell a few of those, bring that money in, and then we can build to a bigger business goal if we want. So set your long-term goal. Do you want to be a drop shipper? You want to find those products and do drop shipping? Do we want to stock products? How do we want to build our business? Set that ultimate goal, and then start with what you have around you. What is there that you can work with? Do you have an ocean nearby? Do you have mountains nearby? Do you have a desert nearby? What about just a yard? What about a park? Maybe you can contract with the city to go in and help trim some of the bushes or cut off dead sticks or something. Maybe there's a rock quarry somewhere nearby that we can go and take a little trip and pick up some rocks that we can sell. What do you have in your area? Look around you, get out and see it, think creatively, think positively, and then try it. Put it up there and list it. You never know what might happen. And sometimes you're going to surprise yourself. Okay, so decide what creativity to continue with as you grow. What that means is you can decide whether this becomes a long-term part of your business or if it's something that you do for a little while just as a means to an end to build to something bigger. However you want to do it. Okay. One last example that I want to give you here, and then I'll go back to that previous screen. Now, of course, you got to stay positive here. Everything has potential. Everything out there, there's potential for it. But one little last story before I finish this here. I know of one of our students from years ago that it wasn't one that I coached. I had communicated with them a bit, but it was from another coach. But they started a website for Cowpie clocks. And yes, they are literally Cowpie clocks. They had some cattle, and so they decided, well, why not? Let's go out and see if people will buy this. And they, started it as a novelty idea kind of thing or a joke product, but they took a dried cow chip, lacquered it, sealed it real good, made sure it was real dry, and then covered it up, and then drilled a hole through the middle and put a clock in it. Put a clock piece and a clock face on it, and sure enough, they started selling. And they became popular enough that they developed a website around this product that they still have today where they sell Cowpie clocks. Okay? Talk about selling something from nature. So that fits right into that third bullet there. It might be the next big thing. Everything's out there has potential. It might be the next big thing. Every man's garbage is another man's treasure. Now, what you need to see, what I hope that you will understand from that little phrase right there, is that it does not matter what you think of it. It's not about what you think the value is. It's not about what you think it's worth. It's not about whether or not you would buy it. That's not what this phrase is about. This phrase is to let you know that if you can get creative, somebody out there will buy it. It doesn't matter whether it's junk or garbage to you. To somebody else, it has value. That's what that phrase is there for. And I hope that you will take that to heart, that you will become creative with your business, that you will go out there and look for some of these things or other things that you have in your area, and let's make a business out of it. Okay? So this is the end of our webinar. I'm going to go ahead and conclude here. If there are questions, I'll stick around for some of those for anybody who might have questions.